Morning, Trainiacs. As requested on a recent edition of Newsday, please make a video on how to be a powerlifter, bodybuilder, and get stronger, build muscle while training for an Ironman. You don't know how timely that is. We're doing it. Roll the intro. So Trainiacs, recently a video popped up on my home screen that said Ironman prep begins by a guy named Nick Bare. Nick Bare is the founder of BPN Supplements, or BPN Performance Nutrition. Basically, he is like who you're asking to find out about. He's a bodybuilder, he's a CrossFitter, he's a power lifter. He's a big dude that is now trying to do an Ironman. He's preparing for an Ironman. And I've followed Nick for a little while. And when I saw this video, I was like, damn, buddy, right on. So I started looking into it after watching that video. And then I found out that Nick actually follows me. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, Nick, if there's anything that I can help with, let's get you trained up. Let me know. And he was into it because his history is as a power lifter. He's a big guy. Most of his heaviest times being like as shredded and focusing on the strength as he possibly could be. He was like 215, 220 pounds of muscle. That's a big dude. So Nick and I just chatted and we're gonna train him up. We're gonna bring him into Team Trainiac. He's gonna train on Team Trainiac. I'm gonna work with him a little bit because a lot of my experience with Trainiacs and people on Team Trainiac is like people coming from diverse walks of life, maybe let themselves get a little bit out of shape, maybe had a little bit of a background in another sport, but not elite athletes. It's like average people. I've never worked with somebody who is essentially an elite athlete, but an elite big athlete. So this is going to be a really big learning experience for me working with him, that I'm going to be able to take all of you through the process of what are the things that are unique to powerlifters, bodybuilders, big muscular athletes who want to still lift while training for a half Ironman or an Ironman. So as Nick and I were talking, and I thought about it after, there are basically three things that weightlifters, bodybuilders need to consider when they get into triathlon. And these are what are going to be unique to those types of people. The first one is to understand what your goals are.
My priority used to be like bodybuilding, powerlifting. And then when I went to the military, it's like, okay, my priority shifted a little bit to running, metabolic conditioning, and races. And then when I trained, that's when I was like, all right, I'm kind of bored of just going to the gym and lifting weights. So first it was like marathons, and then it was like these long endurance ruck marches. And in Ironman, it was always that one thing. I was like, man, like that's on my bucket list. And I've never done a triathlon before, you know, but I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go big.
It's Ironman Florida, right?
Well, as of right now, it is Florida, but based off of like me being ready, I didn't sign up for it yet, so I can always push it back a little bit, but I want to be fully prepared going into it.
Okay.
So the one that I selected was November. It's Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
But if like I'm not prepped for it, I'm all right with pushing it back a little bit.
Okay.
I want to enjoy it and like enjoy the process of leading up to and then doing it, not just like, hey, I'm going to train for this one thing, knock it off so I said I did it, struggle through it, and never do it again.
So understanding your goals like Nick does here is really important to do. If you're looking to build muscle while training for an Ironman, it's going to be really tough. If you're looking to finish an Ironman while still working out really, really hard and focusing on strength, that's totally doable, but your performance then in the Ironman isn't going to be as great. If you're looking at performing in the Ironman while essentially just staying strong, staying healthy, we can do that. It's all just a balance of what do you uniquely want to do and how do you want to mix and match lifting with Ironman training. You can do both. It's just that you have to understand, how much focus you're going to have on each, and that relates to what your outcome is going to be in the race. Next thing you need to think about is when you are going to lift.
So my plan going into this was endurance is the priority.
Okay.
So if I lose muscle, if I lose size, if I lose strength on the process, that's okay with me.
Okay. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'd like to still lift weights like 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week in the evening, and then endurance like 6 days a week.
Okay. What could be a big week for you with everything together? 3 strength days or 3 strength workouts and then 6 endurance workouts. How many hours could you earmark?
I could do 8. I could do 15 to 20.
Really? Okay. Oh, we can get you sorted in that easy.
I love training. No matter what the training is like, I enjoy it. So
some of the things to keep in mind is that lift on hard days. You don't want to have, say, certain days that are your Ironman days and then certain days that are your lifting days and not have any rest days whatsoever. Let the hard days be really hard and let the easy days be really easy. In Nick's case, we're going to load up his hard days with the intense days. So they are going to be brutal days. He's going to be getting off the bike with wobbly legs and then have to do a leg day. And then after that day, he's going to have to do his endurance run so that we're training his legs to run on tired legs. What we're not doing is smattering all of the things across an entire week, never giving him a proper rest.
Monday, run.
Okay.
Tuesday, swim. Wednesday, bike. Thursday, run.
Okay.
Friday, swim. Saturday, bike.
And then Sunday, rest?
Sunday, rest, yep.
What were the days that you were going to lift?
I could do the 2 swim days, 1 of the bike days, maybe even 2 of the bike days, actually. So I prefer the run days just to run because it has weight me more. So you can continue lifting. You just need to figure out when you're going to work it into training so that they support each other. They're not in competition with each other. You're not going to dig yourself a hole. You're also going to allow yourself to have good strength workouts and good Ironman workouts and actually use them both in conjunction with each other to have the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. Now, the next thing that you need to understand when you're getting into it is adjusting your lifting. Only thing that I might change a little bit for you, and I could leave this up to you, is in the lifting on any one of the days. Doesn't matter, and it's not really changing, but just doing some lateral stuff. Good. Like if you're doing squats, instead of doing walking squat lunges, do a side lunge. Okay. Something like that, because the big thing that is going to zap a lot of your energy in a marathon is if every time you land, you're going like this, and energy is going that way and that way. So if you can stabilize that side to side, that's going to be big difference for you. Okay. And you got a lot of weight coming down. So a lot of straight linear stuff, you're going to do gobs of that with biking and running. And we need to make sure that your lifting offsets that just atrophy and going straight. Okay. So I'll leave that up to you because I've seen your stuff. You know what you're doing. So that final thing that you need to think about when you get into Ironman training while you're lifting is adjusting that lifting. So a lot of the things that we do in triathlon are linear. We won't run dead straight, we bike dead straight, we try to swim dead straight. A lot of the things that we do lifting are straight and linear. But what we need to do is offset some of that linear forward motion with strengthening our sides. And the big things that we need to focus on keeping strong when we get into Ironman training are our glute med and our lower side back. So our side bum, our
lower side back so that we don't squinch like this with every single step that we take. And that's going to be particularly critical for somebody, a big guy like Nick, who's coming down really hard with every single foot strike. It needs to be tremendously strong. So the two things that we want to adjust is having a little bit of lateral movements in the strength workouts that he does. Instead of doing, say, linear walking lunges, maybe do lunges that are to the side. And then we also want to make sure, because he's a big guy and you might spend a lot of time on the ground with each foot strike, that we speed up that foot strike with a little bit of plyometrics. And that is going to help him stay nice and fast, nice and strong, and stay in a forward motion without energy leaking out the sides or with energy leaking into the ground. Other than that, everything largely stays the same. A triathlete is still a triathlete. The progress of ramping up the training, it stays the same. The polarized training that I like to do on Team Trainiac, with a lot of low intensity training and then a lot of high intensity training, and slowly building that up to being ready for race day with some race pace training, that stays the same. Nutrition largely stays the same. Requirements to build up your VO2 max, that's the same. Figuring out race pace, swim comfort, all of these things are tasks that every single triathlete needs to accomplish. But the biggest thing that Nick is going to have to work on is incorporating that strength training with the triathlon training. He's going to work on that. I'm going to work on that with him. And you all get to follow along. So it's going to be super interesting working with him. I will keep you all updated on this as we chat more with Nick and as his training gets closer and closer to the Ironman that he's going to do later this year or early next year. But for now, make sure you subscribe. Go check him out at this video over here, and make sure you subscribe to this video, because we'll keep you posted. He'll keep you posted. And we will answer one of the most commonly asked questions. How do big dudes become Ironmen? We're going to find out. Later, Trainiacs. Also, Nick, welcome to the pain train. I'm the conductor here. Choo choo!